Hello again. Welcome to Dark Horse Matters, the show about passionate people who are in pursuit, going after, and or living, Livin, the dream. It's Bev here, your host. And the reason I say Livin is because I just finished reading Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights. And it's one of the best dream chasing stories I've read in a really long time. I highly recommend it. If you do read it, actually listen to the audiobook because it's kind of interesting hearing him tell his story from his own voice. Very inspiring and entertaining. Anyways, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe and share because it's very important to spread around the inspiration energy as much as possible. In season 3, I'm interviewing a lot of people in the dental and medical industry because of my affiliation with RDH magazine. I'm one of the influencers for 2023. Very exciting. But I also am going to throw in a lot of creative entrepreneurs in between. And today's guest falls into both categories. He started off in the field of dentistry as a dental hygienist and then harnessed his passion into entrepreneurship. And he is the founder of a company who takes passionate dentistry, learning, and education, and his love for music and mixes it all up into one. And he's the DJ at Sea. I'm with the DJ. And for a company called Smiles at Sea, hosting many events where people in the industry can learn and play in a vacation environment on a cruise ship. How cool is that? Some of you also know him by being the creator of a very dynamic and growing Facebook group called Trapped in an Op. Please give a warm welcome to Elijah Desmond.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I know you are a very busy person traveling around the world, and I'm just so blessed that you are spending some time with me today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So before we get into everything, actually, let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Yes, so originally I am from Ohio. I graduated from the Ohio State University and moved to the beautiful islands of Hawaii and lived there.
I'm from Hawaii too. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to say that. Very
Yes,
cool.
lived in Hawaii for a while and then I moved to Las Vegas to expand my entrepreneur career because when you are on the island, sometimes it can make you lazy. You will not work, especially if you're your own boss, and you'll go surf for the day, or I ride my motorcycle around. And it was it was good, but I knew I needed to get out, and so I continued to go back every month for the next about 3 years of my life. But I moved to Las Vegas,
And that's where you reside now in Las Vegas?
I lived in Las Vegas for 3 years before I met my wife, and we got pregnant and moved down to South Florida. So I live in West Palm Beach now, and now I go back to Hawaii. I would say once or twice a year. I still have business there in Hawaii and a lot of friends, and yeah, life is good. I basically own about 5 different LLCs, different businesses, and I'm a motivational speaker. I speak all over the world for kids specifically. And I'm in the world of dental events and events in general as a DJ and master of ceremonies, or MC. Some people call me the hype man, and is vacation a lot. So
that is so awesome. I mean, it just seems like you're a very well-rounded person. You've experienced a lot in your life. You've been around to a lot of places. And yeah.
Yes. I mean, I like to say that I have, like right now, I'm 35, but I really feel like I have lived many lives already. I feel like I'm like 200 years old, and my goal is to live to 1,000 before I leave this earth. So yes, I am definitely living many different people's lives, essentially, with all of the experiences I've had.
Very cool. And am I correct? Did I say that correctly when you started off in the industry as a dental hygienist?
I graduated from Ohio State University as a hygienist, yes.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Like what inspired you to go into dental hygiene in the dental industry?
Yes. Well, I was raised on a big farm, and I worked really hard baling hay and shoveling shit. Well, I don't know what type of podcast this is.
It's all good.
But at the end of the day, I worked really hard on the farm. I knew what sweat was like. And I came to the conclusion that I did not like working hard with my hands unless I was in the gym or playing a sport.
Mm.
And instead, I wanted to use my brain, and I wanted to work in air conditioning, and I wanted to work my best gifts, which was my mind. And my aunt is a hygienist. My uncle's a dentist. My mom was the office manager of 20 years. And so the easy path to me, what made the most sense was air conditioning and a dental practice. And so that is what I did. As I started, I went to school to be a dental hygienist. I tested out of high school at 15 years old and started going to college at 16. I ended up getting a full ride scholarship to Ohio State University. And I knew that when I graduated that I was not going to be practicing forever. It was only temporary. And I practiced about 9 months full time before I started my first business, which was a dental staffing agency in Hawaii. And then I temped myself to all these practices. And that was really the beginning of my entrepreneurship career.
That is very interesting. Your path through the industry is definitely different. It stands out. Like I don't usually hear stories this outrageous, like, you know, non-traditional, but very cool. You just had a natural ability for entrepreneurship, I'm guessing.
Yes. Well, a lot of that came from my dad. You know, my dad was and he won from the NAACP, the Entrepreneur of the Year in Ohio, and I was raised around business. And my parents were amazing parents. They allowed me to just be who I wanted to be and pretty much do what I wanted to do. However, I was a really good kid. I could look back and say, like, yeah, Elijah was a really good kid. Like, only thing I got in trouble for was talking in school, and that's what I get paid for now. So,
Yeah.
but I was a good kid. That being said, I didn't have a whole bunch of rules,
Mm.
right? And when I got into the workforce and I experienced rules, same thing as when I got into high school. That's why I was done in 2 years. I experienced rules. Like I found a way out. Like I wanted to create a place where I can create my own rules and other people can create their own rules. Because I don't like them. I think most rules don't make any sense. And so I figured if I got to be my own boss, I can make my own rules and I could determine my own destiny.
That is amazing. And, you know, like, I feel like because you had that mindset at such a young age, like, you just like sped through everything, like at a lightning speed, it seems like.
Yeah.
Very.
I mean, I wouldn't call it lightning speed at first. I think that my first, realistically 5 years or 4 years were slow. I was able to get out really quick, right?
Mhm.
That was, that was pretty fast. I was able to get out of practicing, but in the world of business, I feel like my lightning speed happened after about 4 or 5 years. And it was a mindset for me, a mindset shift that allowed me to have that like really fast speed. And now I'm like faster than I've ever been. And I'm as focused as I've ever been too.
So, do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do. I have an older brother, and I have a younger brother and a younger sister. And my younger
Okay.
sister is actually a hygienist. She has graduated less than a year ago.
Oh, how cool. You know, I just think it's amazing that, you know, you finished school, like high school, so early. Like your maturity level definitely was higher than most people at that age. Like I remember being that age and going off, you know, into the world away from Hawaii. I went
Yeah.
to Los Angeles and definitely scared, you know, scared
Yes.
of exiting that rock.
Yeah, my maturity level was definitely way higher. I mean, I remember whenever my little sister was 18 years old and I was 28 living in Florida, and I basically had her move down here so she'd go to hygiene school. Her maturity level was so different than mine at 18 compared to when I was 15.
Mm.
Like little things like I need somebody to bring me to school. I'm like, girl, if you don't get in this car, get yourself to school. Or I'm sick. What should I do? Go to the doctor. I don't have a doctor. Find one. Like it was a maturity level that we had to fix real quick. And now her and I are extremely close. And she thinks like I think, and she's fast. Like she's street smart. She gets it. She has a really good personality, but she definitely at 18 years old wasn't mature. I never thought about that as a maturity standpoint, but at 15 years old, looking back, I absolutely was very mature. I was not a follower by any means. I was doing the right things, and I wasn't doing reckless stuff like driving fast. I never drank alcohol. I never did any drugs. I did all of the right things. So I was definitely very mature for my age.
That is incredible. Like, I just love hearing this story, just your mindset. Like, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what is going through your mind when you're making these decisions? Like, when you're at that age, you have to, make these life-changing decisions. But I mean, it's what does it look like in your head?
I mean, honestly, I think that have been given some amazing gifts from God, right? I have instincts that are my instincts are just I was born with them, right? I got to see a lot growing up. I got to see what it's like to be on a farm compared to what it's like to be in the city compared to what it's like to be in the inner city in a ghetto. I seen a lot, and so I knew like what I didn't want to be like, and so I was really born with this intelligent mind that was decide between right and wrong, and I was brought up right with my parents.
Yeah, I feel like you have some amazing spirit guides too that just kind of guide you along. That's so cool. So tell me about your other, what came next? What was your next entrepreneurial journey after the staffing company?
Yeah, I was producing dental hygienist, and so I temped myself out often so I didn't have to work for one person. And as I tempt myself out, what happened is that a lot of these dentists seeing that my production was higher than their hygienist who was out sick. And
Mm.
I would produce somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 a day, where they were used to their hygienist producing like 800 to 1,300 per day. And so one day, I was temping in a practice, and Dennis said, Elijah, does Hawaii Smiles Dental Staffing Agency offer a consulting program? And I said, yep. It didn't have one, but I created
I love that.
but I created one, and I basically said, I'm going to create a consult. I basically said to myself, like, I'm going to create a different consulting agency. I had practiced at least a couple hundred dental practices between Hawaii and Ohio, and so many of them had consulting companies and agencies and coaches at them. And practice management coaches, consultants had like a bad name, essentially, if you're a staff member, because it meant change.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I decided to do is I would do it differently. And instead of going in and telling them everything they did wrong, I said, we're going to do things different. We're going to teach them about all the things that they do right, and praise them for the things they do right, and empower them the things they love to do. And so I would go in and I would ask the hygiene department, what do you love about hygiene? What do you love? Like what makes you tick? And some of them may say perio, some say, prevention, some say Invisalign. And I said, okay, well, what if I guaranteed you that I would give you the best support ever in those areas? And even if you didn't like preventative stuff, do I have permission to still introduce it to you? And I'm going to support you in the things that you're obsessed with. And you're not going to have to do anything you don't want to do, but I'm going to make sure that you get the best CE in the entire country. I'm going to make sure that you have the best tools that are out there in existence in our industry. The stuff that is literally best researched, the newest technology. If I can get you all that stuff and I can get your doctor to agree, and maybe I can make you some more money along the way, would you be on my team? Would you do it? And I would get buy-in. Always. And so I focused on the things that they loved, and all of a sudden their production would increase by 20 to 50%. And just because of that, the other things that I brought in, sometimes they liked it and sometimes they didn't. And if they didn't like the things, I would say, that's okay. Well, let's focus on what you do like.
Mm.
And I brought the culture up. So as a motivational speaker, I focus on positive things. And there's a lot of negativity in the practice. And so I would focus on culture, hygiene, and ortho, Invisalign. And that was the second business that I had. But while talking about being positive and motivating people, that was the same thing that chased me away from consulting in the dental practice, because there's always some negative Nancy's in the practice. And when I go to,
Absolutely.
yeah, when I go to practice, I want to bring them up and make them happy, and I want them to be happy. But when there is this someone that is just the energy vampire there, it drains me. And so I decided, I said, you know what? I have 23 practices I'm working with across the entire United States right now, from Maui to Big Island to Oahu to Miami to Chicago to Albuquerque to Arizona to Vegas, Chicago, I mean, all over. And I was going every month to them. I was burning myself out.
Mm.
But the things that were burning me out more than the travel was the people in the practice. And I figured, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to speak, continue to speak at these big conferences, and I'm going to stop practicing as a consultant. So I can say what I have to say from the stage, and you can like it or not, and I'm out. and so I got out of consulting after all.
I just really appreciate your approach when you're attracting people to you. You don't go out there and prospect people. I don't
Right.
get that from you at all. I feel like people approach you and be like, hey, like, I want you, teach us, how to be like you. And that is just incredible. And I love your confidence. Were you always confident, or do you ever have those moments where you feel defeated? Because like right now when I look at you, I don't get that vibe from you.
No. I mean, I am always confident. I've always been this confident. I believe it was the way that I was raised. However, I can be so confident that I can get defeated. And when I get defeated, it is terrible. Like, so it's horrible. Like, I've been at rock bottom 2 points in my life. And even the most confident person in the world can get to a situation to where they're defeated. And so I have been defeated a couple times. And those times when I was defeated, it made me so much stronger. So I came back stronger than I was. And I feel like every time in life, you need to get defeated to rebalance, right?
Yeah.
And to restabilize and remember what it's like to be defeated. And
Yeah.
somebody who said they've never been defeated before is probably lying.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody that's able to say they've been defeated can help a lot of people.
I mean, I don't know if you're open to being vulnerable, but can you kind of go into detail a little bit about that moment when you, I don't know, were at rock bottom? Like, what was going through your mind, and what were the things? Were there a specific person or affirmations you would do? Like, what would you do to kind of pick yourself back up?
That's a great question. Well, I was at rock bottom 2 times. And I'll never forget them. I guess I can talk about the most recent one. It was 2020. And what put me at rock bottom is the pandemic. And if you can imagine, for 5 years, I was riding high. My cruises, Smiles at Sea cruises, were growing by 33% every year. The reviews were out of control. I had got a chance to meet majority of the dental influencers of the world. I was on like all the podcast circuits. I was writing magazines in every article. Financially, I was at a peak in my career, and all of a sudden the pandemic hit. And then when the pandemic hit, as you know, cruise ships were kind of like obsolete. Those things were, docked. And so they canceled all events and canceled cruises. And I stayed out of the water for 3 years. So imagine all of a sudden you are on this high horse and you're helping a lot of people, you're changing a lot of lives, you're having a lot of fun, and that is your identity. And all of a sudden somebody takes it from you. Just like that. And it was about within the first 3 weeks, where I had to announce that we were going to be canceled, or we had to, because Royal Caribbean shut the cruise lines down, we had to cancel the cruises. Credits would be issued. I had like 5% of the people completely revolt and say like, I want my money back, and I couldn't give anybody their money back. In the clause of their contract, it specifically said, in the event of force majeure, you will be issued a credit. That is a force majeure act of God, and I can't give one person the money back and not 95% of the other people, right? I can't give one person. We had 640 people booked on that cruise so far. We were about to hit 700, and there was and by the way, it wasn't like I was just keeping it. Like, I have a full-time team. I spent money on marketing. We were 3 weeks away. There wasn't money to pay everybody back, and I got cyberbullied so bad on one specific Facebook group that had like 25,000 members in it. And I'm not the type of person to fight back. I could have fought back and went out to my many friends that I have that own all these Facebook groups and did 10x damage that they did to me. But instead, I chose to take the blows. And I felt like I was biting a curb and somebody was just kicking, like, every comment, every single interaction with the posts that they kept mainly from a same individual, but people liking it, commenting, and knowing how much I did for the industry. And I felt like nobody was standing up for me. It felt absolutely terrible. I went into my bed and I didn't want to come out of bed for like 3 days. I was depressed. I was at rock bottom. It was not suicidal. I've never been suicidal, but it's really cool to be at rock bottom and want to wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, and feel the depression. So that way that you can talk about it and you can help other people. I came out of that, full circle to answer your question. I came out of that because I knew people needed me, and I knew people were waiting for me to come back and help them. And basically the way that gets me out of that situation is helping other people. All of a sudden, when you start helping people, you realize that people have it way worse than you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're so focused on helping other people that you don't feel your own pain anymore until the pain is suddenly gone. And so from the stage, this is what I teach. I teach high school kids this from the stage, and how to get out of depression, and how to help, and how to give back. And the best feeling in the world is going to a school and telling my story and having these kids stand in line to wait for me. And they give me the longest hug ever. And some of them are crying. And I have been told countless times that they were going to go home and take their life that night, but they weren't now because of my message. And messages and emails, I still get them to this day. And so I'm addicted now to saving people's lives, and I'm not a heart surgeon.
Wow, that is huge impact you're making. And thank you so much for sharing that story. That is just crazy how that evolved, just the sequence of events and how not long ago that was. That was just recent. Yeah. I love that you help teenagers. I feel like that group of that demographic of young people, they're so easily influenced, and the computer is like right there in front of them all the time. It's so easy to get sucked into the wrong energy online. And I just think it's so incredible that you help them, and you help them feel good about their lives, like that is just beautiful. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Very, very amazing. Yeah. So, we kind of jumped ahead. I was going to ask you about like how you founded Smile at Sea, because I just find that to be such an incredible way of, getting people involved in the industry and what you love doing with music.
Yes, absolutely. So I got into the industry and started going to CEs, obviously, like 2009. And I felt that it was like the conferences I was going to were so boring. Like, the learning is you go there, you learn, and then that's it. Right? I felt like there was no camaraderie. There was no community. There was no fun at all. It was boring to me. I would like have to be on my phone to not fall asleep.
Yeah.
And like, you go to a big conference, and after the conference, people go to dinner, right? And when they go to dinner, they may pass the hotel bar, but there's some fun people that are at the bar, right? But most people are afraid of what people will think about them. So they skip that, and they
Mm-hmm.
go and they scatter. There's no sense of community. And I felt like I wanted to change it. And it's not all about the bar. It's not all about partying. It's about community,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's about community. And I went on a cruise. I became obsessed with the cruise, and I love vacationing. I literally every month, 30% of the month, I am on vacation. Really. Uh,
That is incredible.
I'm on vacation. So 30% of the year, I am vacationing. And basically, I said, how can I mix cruises with vacations and continuing education? I'm going to create a conference on a cruise. So I went on a Facebook group and I posted, and I said, would anybody be interested in doing a continuing education on a cruise ship? Within 5 minutes in 2015, I had like 200 comments. And that post, thank goodness I seen how much everybody was excited. That post was deleted, and soon after I was removed from the group for promoting a business.
Ah,
Well, I didn't even start a business yet. It was just an idea.
that's crazy.
But thank you for removing me from that group, because I went on to start my own group. And at the time, that group had about 9 or 10,000. My group is 23,000 now. And it really inspired me to go and build this cruise. So I created Smiles at Sea, and we started off with 289 people on the cruise ship. And every year we grew 30% to 33%. I did 2 times per year, spring and fall. We're actually cruising out of LA, coming up here really soon. I want to say May the 8th through the 12th.
Okay.
But basically, we did 2 cruises a year. And the last cruise, we had 670 people. The cruise that canceled was 2, the spring and the fall. That one was on track to hit 700. The fall was on track to hit 1,000. And we were just growing and growing really fast. And we were on track to, by 2023, charter an entire cruise ship.
Wow. So the Facebook group you were talking about, was that trapped in an op?
Trapped in an op was the Facebook group. Yes.
I think I heard about that Facebook group for the first time during the pandemic. I think a staffing agency, temp agency, was the one who told me about it. And I was like stuck in there just watching everybody's comments. Very dynamic group. People love sharing and inspiring stories too.
Yes.
Very great group. And I just find it so cool that evolved into your business. It just kind of comes your way. And how did you get the cruise ship? Like, do you get to choose whatever ship you want to have your event on?
Yep. So I picked the ship with the space, and basically, and by the way, DJing had nothing to do with cruising at all. So basically, when the cruises stopped, I created another event called the Dental Festival, which is a collaboration of many different conferences all under the same venue during the same dates. That was my pivot, right? Now, right before the pandemic happened, I went and started Scratch Academy. And Scratch Academy is essentially where most of the famous DJs down here in Miami and in South Florida are learning to DJ. And so that was where I went to learn to be a DJ.
Wow.
And so basically, I am a battle DJ. When I started school as a DJ, I actually told Andy Coding, Life with Andy RDH. He has a big Facebook group, and he does board reviews for college seniors for hygiene. And I told him I was doing this thing, and he said, I'd love to have you be our DJ. So I started, and like literally 3 months later, I was already DJing. But the difference is that I wouldn't go to the crowd and say, hey, everybody, I'm the best DJ. Come tonight and hear me. It would be, hey, everybody, I'm here to support you and make sure you have a fun time. But just remember, this is my first time or second time or third month DJing. So I will mess up a few times, but I would love if you would support. Everybody showed up. And whenever I messed up, I played the wrong song, I stopped the music, I would get a whole bunch of claps and they would stay on
Yeah.
the dance floor instead of everybody leaving because me saying I'm the best, right?
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
one thing turned to another. I began DJing all over at many dental conferences. And then I went out and got a tour bus, 46-foot tour bus. And I went on tour last year for 7 months. And I stopped in 3 to 4 major cities before I got to the final destination. And I would sell out events. I would go to House of Blues, Tabernacle, state associations, and I would DJ. And basically, it was like a dream come true. It's like I'm living like a dental celebrity. It's
Wow.
been
Rock
amazing.
star. Yeah. That is so amazing. I just loved like just the way the turn of events happen. I really feel like you're forced to be like the energy field you have around you is very attractive,
Yes.
and it just that I mean you attract great things in your life, all your dreams, and I feel like, it has a lot to do with you and your energy that that comes out of you. So,
Yes.
I mean, congratulations on all your success. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
think that you're making a really amazing impact in the world. And, we just need more and more, I
Yes.
don't like the negativity being spread. I like people to be inspired and empowered, and that's
Yes.
exactly what you do. Very
Absolutely.
awesome. What what are you doing? Like, do you have any goals now? Like, I feel like you're not. I mean, you have a pretty busy life, but I feel like your brain probably just is like in the habit of creating.
Yeah, you said that you're spot on. I'm always in creation mode. A lot of times people sit around and have goals. I don't really sit around, so I have only action. So I have a
Mm,
thought, I go do it. I don't sit around and dream, right? So if I think of something, I'm I'm acting on it right now. And I do take risks for sure. I lose a lot of money taking risks, but I also make a lot of money taking risks.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm not really a dreamer that has these big goals. I think that everybody should have goals. I'm not discouraging goals. I think everybody should have a goal. But I just think about the action, and the action gets me to that goal, right? But I don't even have to dream it up or sit around thinking about it. I just do it, right? If I want to go to Europe, I'm planning a trip to Europe. If I want to go to Africa, I'm planning a trip to Africa. If I want to plan a trip to Antarctica, I am doing it. If I want to grow a business, I am doing it. If I don't have the skill to do it, I'm hiring somebody to do it. So like
Mm,
I have zero excuses, but I don't have a lot of time to sit around and make goals. Maybe short-term smart goals. I'm going to get through my emails today. I'm going to respond to all my text messages today, right? I'm going to try to squeeze in some appointments when I don't have them, but like I'm always booked out. Like I'm booked out typically a couple weeks at a time, sometimes maybe a month before somebody can get an appointment because I'm that busy. So I don't really have time to sit around and dream.
right. I hope you guys are listening out there. His habits. I feel like these habits, I mean, they're not even habits. That's just the way you are. That's the way you be. And if you want to be successful, that's the way you have to be. And a lot of people just don't even know how to do that because we've been conditioned our whole lives to, I don't know, be a certain way and not act, do a lot of planning, have to learn everything first, I think it's such an incredible it's simple. You have a thought and you do. It's as simple
Yeah,
as that.
absolutely. And sometimes like I feel so bad for some people in our own industry, even people in general, that they don't know what they're capable of. And I can see things very clear. I can look at somebody, I could talk to them for an hour and say, "Oh my gosh, this is you. This is you. You should do this," but they're stuck. And they're stuck doing the same exact thing. Sometimes our minds are conditioned to, wake up at 7 o'clock, get to work by 8:30, work till 5, get home, get food ready for the kids, and then get ready to get exhausted. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so you're exhausted by the time your weekend comes, and then you go on vacation like one time per year, and you try to live the max that you can within your budget. And it's what we're like conditioned and routine, we're routinely doing them. And I broke those shackles really quick, and I didn't get that. But sometimes I see these people just stuck. And
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Steve Harvey this morning, And Steve Harvey was talking about a flea and how fleas can actually jump from as little as they are. They can jump 3 feet. They can jump 3 feet in the air, right? That's 36 inches. And a lot of humans cannot jump 3 feet, 36 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steve Harvey says, now, a lot of us are these fleas that we get put into a glass jar. Imagine a mayonnaise jar with a lid. And now all of a sudden, that same flea cannot jump 36 inches or 3 feet. They're only
Mm-hmm.
jumping 5 or 6 inches, and they just keep on jumping. And pretty soon, they just don't jump so hard, and so they don't hit that top of that mayonnaise jar, and they just
Mm-hmm.
keep jumping it hard. Then they have kids, and their kids, what they do is they watch them only jumping like this. So then it becomes the generation of people that are jumping like this.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm trying to pop the lid off of everybody
Right.
immediately and teach them how high they can jump. And I've been jumping high for a long time. And the cool thing is, I don't jump by myself. I jump with friends.
Mm-hmm.
I jump with friends all around me. And the feeling of being able to jump and teach other people to jump is the most rewarding thing that I have ever been able to do. And I've been teaching people to jump for a very long time. But some people are easier to teach than others. The
Mm-hmm.
ones that are difficult to teach are the people that won't take the risks.
Mm-hmm.
They like to be uncomfortable, and they like to be comfortable. They don't want to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that is very difficult to help somebody when they're just afraid to make a move. They're afraid to take 2 steps back in their life and to sacrifice and to live less, live below their means, or to invest,
Mm-hmm.
right? I hear dental professionals often, I don't have the money, I'm broke, I can't do it. You do have the money, I'm sorry. You're just living different than you should.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people.
Yeah. I always tell my patients that I'm like, what, it just depends on what kind of person you are. Are you the type of person to invest in prevention, or are you the person to pay for restoration? Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's definitely a mindset, but the whole flea story is very interesting. And it kind of reminded me of another story about what was called learned helplessness. Like, as you think that you can't jump higher than that 3 feet, it gets to the point where you're not even going to try anymore, you
Mm-hmm.
know and then you teach your young that that's the way it is too. You can't jump higher than 5 inches. Yeah, learned helplessness. That is, it just reminded me of that
Yeah,
concept. Very interesting.
absolutely.
But I just think that your just the path that you had in life is just so inspiring, and just, it's really, really cool to see that, having a mindset like the way you do. I mean, it feels like if you can go through life believing in yourself that way, and just taking action on all, following your dreams without even you know thinking too much about it, it just eventually it'll just come to you. You start attracting your dreams toward you.
Right. On my arm right here, I have a tattoo that says motivation and determination without procrastination is the key to success.
Yeah.
And I feel that the biggest word out of all of those words is procrastination. And procrastination is a time killer.
Mm.
And I'm going to tell you, I could have sat around and thought about opening up that first business, right? Or doing something different, or speaking for the first time, and went from 21 to 35 like that. Just like for many people that are at 35 right now, or 40 right now, or 45, thinking about it, procrastinating, dreaming. They're going to stay dreaming. And before you know it, year 60 is coming right up. And you done dreamed the whole time from 35 to 60 or 45 to 60. And then all of a sudden, guess what? 80 is going to be here before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never will live that life. I will never feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have did. No, I'm doing it now, because you never
Mm.
know when the last day is.
Yeah, I just, life is, you only get one chance at life. You just got to live it. You got to live it to the extreme, to the
Yes,
fullest capacity, to reach fulfillment. Isn't that the goal in life? To be
absolutely.
fulfilled. So can I ask you, like, especially for those dental hygienists out there, I just resonate. And I feel like during the pandemic, a lot of hygienists, sat there and really thought, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? And I'm so passionate about dental hygiene. like I love this field, but I can't lie. I've thought about that too, because I'm a very, very creative person. And I'm like, I can't really, I can't be as, I don't have the freedom to be artistic in an operatory. You know what I mean? You have to do everything a certain way, according to your employer or whatever. You have to be professional in that space. And I just feel like you're for one thing, your Facebook group, I think it opened up a lot of people's eyes in that sense. What can you give? What kind of advice can you give to those hygienists out there who maybe they are passionate, but to find that desire again for dental hygiene, or to have the courage to explore other options?
Yeah, so finding the desire to stay in dental hygiene, I have strong advice about that. And I would say you need to sit down with your boss or sit down with your team lead, sit down with the dentist and talk to them. Because more than likely, you guys are in alignment. There's just a communication breakdown.
Mm.
And if that dentist would allow you to spread your wings and grow as a hygienist, I think that you will have a very happy career. But oftentimes there's a communication breakdown. And what do I mean by spread your wings? I mean, listen, go and travel and get your certification to improve your patient's health and the bottom line for that practice, right? Go and learn from the best educators in the entire industry. Ask them to get that piece of equipment. They call theirs a CERAC. Maybe ours is, maybe it's a new ultrasonic. Maybe it's a Bluetooth X-ray sensor that takes X-rays and makes the turnaround way faster. Maybe if it's artificial intelligence, whatever it is, you have to be on the same page as your dentist and have a growth mindset. And if the dentist is caging you in a box and not allowing you to grow at all, right? And that doesn't mean just financially. That means let you learn. There's so much for us to learn in this industry. We're not just teeth scrapers.
Mm.
We save lives, we change lives, and we make an amazing and beautiful smile for so many people. There's so many things that dental hygienists do. However, a lot feel trapped. I felt trapped personally. I felt trapped for other reasons, but some people need to stay in our industry. If we didn't have dental hygienists in our industry, what would we have? Right? Mm-hmm. We need to stay in our industry, but you have to be in the right home. And if you're not happy, you're not in the right home, guess what? 28% of dental practices are looking for hygienists. Find a new home. Find a new home. And you may be in the right home right now, but you have to sit down and have that heart-to-heart conversation about wanting to grow. And you can't just say, I want to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make more money. You have to bring something to the table. You can't just say, I want to make more money. And that has no business logic whatsoever. And right. a lot of people are just going and ruin it for our industry and demanding some crazy numbers. And we're gonna price ourselves out. We're going to price ourselves out. Instead, it's how can I learn a new service? How can I learn a new product that's going to help my patient? How can I gain the knowledge to serve my patients better? Now that will bring in more production. It will help patients more, and it will allow us to make more. But going into practices and saying, I'm just not happy, give me a raise or I'm out. Mm-hmm. It's killing it for all of us.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you brought this up, because this communication gap between the employer, the dentist, and the dental hygienist, dental hygienists are providers as well. We're the ones who, we keep the steady flow of income so the practice can their doors can stay open. We're the ones who find the high production for the office. And I just feel like dental hygienists, we go to school. School is not easy. We learn a lot in dental hygiene school, and we just have to learn how to really bring the value, and talk to the dentist. I feel you. Like, I feel like a lot of people are just, I don't know, they don't feel like they're on the same level, or they just don't have the courage to, they're human beings just like us, right?
Yes. And it's the same thing. Get uncomfortable. Just like if you want to start a business, if you want to start doing something different, you have to get uncomfortable. It starts with getting uncomfortable in your workplace and just communicating.
Communication is so important. And I don't feel like they focused on that enough in dental hygiene school. at
They
all.
will now. They will now. Just like in dental school, they'll be focusing on businesses soon to come. So maybe not then, but it's most important now because there's a divide in our industry, and somebody has to fix it, and it starts with us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I really, really love this conversation. I could probably go on forever and ever, but we're probably at our time up now. But I just love your energy. I love the impact that you're making in this world, in the industry. We definitely need you. And I definitely, like, how, if you are a educator, someone who is a public speaker, like, how can they be a part of your party?
Yeah,
I want to be on your
absolutely.
party.
Yes. Well, first off, I would say I'm very reachable. Communication is my love language. Reach out to me. How do you reach out to me? Well, Instagram is DJ Smiles, Facebook, Elijah Desmond, LinkedIn, Elijah Desmond, Google, Elijah Desmond. You'll find me and I will respond. I can't stand emails, but I respond to them. But basically, I mean, if you want to go on a cruise, go to smilesatsea.com. If you want to go to the dental festival, go to thedentalfestival.com. If you want to just talk to me about something, I love helping people. I'm very reachable. I'm very approachable, but I have a calendar link. So that means you have to book, but I make time for everybody and I will never outgrow my people ever.
And I really appreciate that you coming on here to share your story with everyone. And you did not hesitate about being a part of this conversation. And I really appreciate you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us on Dark Horse Matters, the show about passionate people going after it and making it come true. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode so everybody can feel this guy, Elijah, his energy. We gotta spread the good news around. And I know that it's going to make a huge impact, not only in the industry, but he's making a lot of impact in these young minds. Then they need to be molded in positive ways. So thanks again. And until next time, be passionate.